grab a couple of blankets and pillows and get extra cozy today. We're going to do some relaxing, restorative yoga poses. So just go ahead and grab whatever props you have, pillows, blankets, comforters, couch cushions. All do really well for that. So go ahead. When you're ready, go ahead and find your way to your yoga mat. We're going to start in a restorative heart opening position. It's called Supta Baddha Konasana, or reclined bound angle. So if you have a bolster, I'm just going to say bolster, but if you have other props, pillows, blankets, etc., just pretend I'm saying that for you. So go ahead and put a little stack of props or a bolster underneath where your back will lay on. I like to have a little extra height underneath my head, so I'm grabbing a pillow or a blanket here on top of my bolster. You'll face away from those props at first. If you have your blocks, we'll bring the blocks underneath the knees on the side, or again, props like pillows or blankets could also be really nice. We'll sit with the soles of the feet together and the knees out wide. You can adjust the height of your blocks or your props here underneath your knees so that it feels like a comfortable distance. Press your very lowest part of your back, your sacrum, up against your bolster or stack of blankets, and then slowly recline onto your back. Once you get here, you might notice, oh, those blocks under my knees have to be at a different angle or a different height. So just make sure your legs feel super supported here. Make sure your back is feeling nice and supported. You might kind of tuck your shoulder blades in a little bit so you feel this kind of heart opening sensation through the front part of the body. And just keep adjusting and readjusting, adding props, taking props away. Just keep it up until you feel super comfortable. If you have a blanket to pull up over top of you, that could be really nice. Your arms might just recline out to the sides. Or sometimes it feels nice to just have the hands up on the low rib cage with the elbows kind of pressing down into the floor. So just keep finding your way. Find that moment of comfort. And you're welcome to move or readjust anytime you'd like. Though our opening portion here will be kind of focusing in on resting, so trying not to move too much more than needed could be helpful. And you might close your eyes right away when you arrive, or maybe soften your gaze and look in some particular direction, somewhere easy and steady. And maybe one last time, just checking for any small discomfort. See if you can comfort yourself a bit more. We'll be in this position for a few minutes, so normally little discomforts can grow with time. So if you're feeling those now, just adjust. And there is really something to noticing and then taking action on your comfort. I find that in times when the world doesn't make sense, where there's terrible things going on in my life, where things just feel hard, oh, it's such a nice practice to get physically as comfortable as possible. Find a restorative posture. Like this one is one of my all time favorite go to poses for being with emotions, being with thoughts, and also releasing those thoughts and lingering in a space of softening and seeing as it's a heart opener. Sometimes it can really help to keep the heart not physically but emotionally, the emotional heart center soft and open, which is hard sometimes, especially as there are so many troubles in the world, so much violence and injustice around us. Sometimes it feels safer, and sometimes it is safer to not have an open heartedness. But the practice of being with what is, no matter how challenging, is the practice of the Bodhisattva, the one who helps to relieve suffering in the world. So, practicing a state of compassion, of remaining open hearted through hardships, sometimes can feel rewarding as well. So, just seeing what comes up here for you, considering your physical and emotional heart. How is your heart feeling? How is your body feeling? And if possible, letting go just a little bit more. Really letting your props hold you up. Letting your props do the work here. Relieving any bits of tension or stress that you can just by having the will to do so. And I know that's not all the tension and stress usually. Usually there's some that's a little bit more stubborn or deeply rooted than that, but just doing what you can here. Maybe even enjoying this still and soft moment in your day. Find your breath. Watch your breath enter and exit the lungs, the nostrils. See if you can bring the air slow and low down to the lowest parts of your lungs, letting the belly expand and then soften as the air returns out into the world. Inhaling and exhaling, softening the rest of your body. And if thoughts arise, just giving a moment to those thoughts, noticing, thinking. And then if it feels like it's serving you, come back to your breath. Enjoying comfort, enjoying breath. Just for a few more cycles. And if you would like to set a dedication or intention for your practice, go ahead and consider that now. And we'll do a few different rounds of breathing or pranayama breathing practices today. Our first one will be similar to a clearing breath. We'll inhale through the nose, and then with our exhale, remember when you were little and you'd pretend like the crowd was going wild and you'd make this kind of like sound. almost like you're fogging up a mirror, or like delicately screaming, like whisper screaming. You could kind of imagine what you will there, but we'll make that sound on the exhale. So let's give it a try. Inhale through your nose. I'm going to call it whisper scream on your exhales. Let's do that again. Inhale through your nose. Like you're fogging up a window. Exhale. One more time like that. Inhale through your nose. Really opening the mouth up wide as you take that exhale. And we'll inhale through the nose, and this time we'll blow out of the mouth. Let's do that 2 more times. In through the nose, and blow through the mouth. One more like that. In, and blow out. And then coming back to a steady pace of breath, noticing any tingling or kind of fresh moving energy through the body after that breath work. And then starting to wiggle your fingers and toes. Let's help the knees up to the center. We'll find constructive rest pose here. So we're just going to toe heel the feet out kind of wide, and then let the knees come together at the center, and just kind of hang out here for a moment, letting the lower body and the hips kind of come to, if you will. And then you could stay here in constructive rest, or kind of windshield wiper the knees side to side. So just kind of twisting knees from one side and then to the other. Moving any props out of the way that might be there still. Just a little windshield wiper twist through the knees, through the legs. All right. Okay, let's start to kind of lift off of your props. We're going to come to the right side though. So you can kind of turn onto the side, sweep those props away. We're going to hang out on the right side now. So we'll come back down to the fetal position. I like to use my bottom arm as a pillow, but if you have a pillow, maybe you put that under your head. Knees are bent a little bit, and just rest your left hand on the floor in front of your chest for some support. And we'll breathe in and out here, noticing the left lung a little bit more. See if you can really like open and fill that left lung. We'll have one more breath like that. All right, now we're going to find our Feldenkrais twist. So that right hand will reach straight out to the right side. That left hand will stack on top. Reach your left hand just farther away than the right fingertips, and just pause there, feeling an opening and a stretching between your shoulder blades. Keep reaching through both hands, both arms. And then when you're ready, let's retract, pulling the left hand across your right arm, across your collarbones, and then your version of all the way open today. Maybe that left arm stays up in the air. Maybe that left arm can reach the floor. Your call. Just hang out here in this open arm twist for another breath or two. And then when you're ready, let's close it up. Bend your left elbow. Bring your left fingers to the left shoulder. And then slide the hand across your collarbones, and then all the way back down until your hands stack again. Go ahead and do that a few times at your own pace now, keeping some contact with the left fingers as they pull across the body, across the collarbones, and again, your version of all the way open. Linger as long as you'd like, and just repeating that opening and closing at your own pace. And noticing how the shoulder blades are kind of getting some nice patterning movements here. Some would even consider this a nerve glide. We are retracting the shoulder blades, coming together when the arms are open. and protracting. When the hands are together, the shoulder blades are spread out, they're kind of reaching apart from each other. This can be a really nice reset if you have been doing a lot of arm and shoulder types of work today. And you can always add on a little extra something something. Maybe your fingertips stretch out wide, giving your hands some stretch. Maybe your hands kind of rub together as they close. Maybe you drag some extra weight across your arm or across your collarbones, getting some more comforting touch for yourself. Maybe that left arm goes for a little detour and kind of reaches up and overhead a little bit. Just go ahead and explore any little add-ons that just feel interesting or good to you. So many opportunities to play and experiment. And then let's eventually meet up with the arms stacked on the right side. In your own timing, we'll turn onto the belly. We'll find crocodile pose. So flat on the belly, the hands stack underneath your forehead. Rest your hands or your head on top of your hands or your fists. Just letting your heels splay out to the sides for now. Let's do a couple more of those diaphragmatic breaths. Some consider this like a diaphragm reset or a diaphragm kind of strengthening or focus type of breath. So you might notice a little more resistance here being on the belly. We're inhaling deep down into the lungs, kind of pressing into the floor, and then softening back down. Keep noticing and releasing any built tension through the body, the shoulders, the legs. And softening wherever you can. Find relief. And you're welcome to stay just like this in your crocodile pose, or start to experiment with kind of some foot and leg movement here. If you're up for it, let's bend the knees so the feet kind of are hanging out in the air behind you now. And windshield wiper your feet side to side. So just letting the feet kind of sway from one side to the other. You might kind of swing them around, like down, almost like you're straightening your legs and then sweeping them over to the other side. Or you might kind of create a rainbow shape, just rocking side to side, up to center and over to the other side. And just kind of freestyle here. Notice if you can feel any replies or responses through even the low back. This could help to loosen up the low back. Just playing a little bit with this movement. When you feel you've had enough, just letting your feet come back to the floor, taking at least one more full round of breath. Yeah, and then we'll turn onto the left side next. So just turning there, coming to the fetal position. Our knees tucking in a little bit. Maybe you use that left arm as a pillow here. So we're just resting on the left side, fetal position. Use that right hand to help yourself stay balanced and on your side. And now feeling into that right lung. Let's take a couple of big breaths into the right lung and out. Two more like that, filling the right side of the body with air and softening. One more breath. And then we'll find those Feldenkrais twists on this side. So now the left arm reaches straight out to the left side. That right hand stacks on top. Reach your right fingertips farther than your left. Reach through the shoulders. Spread those shoulder blades apart. Feel your stretch. Linger as long as it feels good. And eventually we're retracting the shoulder blades by pulling that right hand across your left arm, across your collarbones, and eventually all the way open, whatever that means to you. You can stay open for a while. And now's your time just to play with this twist. So just opening and closing as you wish. When you're ready to close, we're bending that right elbow, bringing the right fingertips to the right shoulder, suck it, and then sliding the hand down the collarbones, down that left arm until your hands meet again. Go ahead and play, adding on any of those extra movements or explorations as you see fit. And maybe at some point noticing the opening and closing of the shoulder blades, the protraction and retraction, it's called. And if you ever feel like your shoulders are kind of stiff, remembering this move could be helpful to you. Motion is lotion. For the joints, we are helping the synovial fluid in the joints, which kind of lubricates, moisturizes, if you will, the joints. So if you're feeling stiff, some nice movement could be helpful. And eventually meeting up with the hands stacked on the left. Take your time getting there. And then when you're ready, let's press our way up through a seated position, right to hands and knees for cat and cow. If you like a little extra cushion underneath your knees, go ahead and grab a blanket or something to place there when you're ready. We'll spread the fingertips out nice and wide. Just take a moment to feel into the palms of your hands. You might even kind of shift your weight around your palms, taking almost like a little circling motion above the hands, just so you can feel them kind of stamping down into the ground, as if you were stamping your hand into some wet cement, just making sure you're getting each part of your handprint stamped down. And then keep that connection throughout all the edges of your hands. With your inhale, lower your belly, lift your tailbone and your gaze, finding cow pose. And then exhale to round your spine, tuck your chin, cat pose. Inhale, cow, belly lowers, gaze and tailbone lift. Exhale, cat, rounding your spine. You got it now. Keep flowing. Inhaling to cow. Exhaling to cat. Maybe adding a little side bend or a twist or turn through the shoulders or hips. Add your style. Add your flair. All right, when you're ready, let's find our way to extended child's pose. We'll have a little add-on option for shoulders today. So if you want to, we'll bring our blocks with us. So just bring them on the lowest setting a little bit closer to your body. And just set them down for now. Sink your seat toward your heels. And at first, you might just come down to your forearms. You might take a couple of moments here before our variation just to walk your hands out toward the top of your mat and then sink your head and your heart toward the floor. If you want to go for our variation today, it'll get a little deeper into the shoulders. You can always try it out, and if it feels like too much, you can just come back to this spot that you're at now. So if you're up for it, grabbing those blocks, bringing them a little We're going to put the elbows on top of the block, so it might take a little bit of positioning or repositioning to get it about right. We're going to place the elbows on the edges of the blocks, bring your hands, your palms together, and just start to sink down. Sink your head down between those blocks. You might have to readjust them a couple of times so they're in the right position. You have really flexible shoulders and a big range of motion. Maybe you have to bring your blocks up to a higher setting. Maybe the shoulders want to be a little wider. You could bring your blocks out a little wider. So once you sink on in, we're just bending the elbows and maybe placing the thumbs at the back of the head or the back of the neck. Make sure you're not just bearing your way through here. Make sure it feels nice, and if it doesn't, coming to a variation that does. We have about 2 more breaths. Just about 1 more breath. And when you're ready, we're coming back up slowly, straightening the arms, moving those blocks up to the top of your mat. Come up to tabletop. We'll find our way to a downward dog here. We'll bring the hands onto the blocks if you have them. Curling those toes under, pick up your knees, send the tailbone high. You might keep your knees very bent here if you like, or pedal your legs out, bending and straightening opposite legs, or just remaining kind of still. Breathing slow and steady. Just about 1 more breath. Feel those calves stretching. With your next inhale, let's bend the knees, look up to your hands. Exhale, step or walk your feet behind your blocks for ragdoll forward fold. Have at least a mini bend of the knees, if not a very deep bend. Let your upper body hang kind of loose here. Maybe finding a bit of movement, swaying or rocking. Or maybe continuing to enjoy stillness. Make sure you're breathing. Very good. All right, bend your knees a little deeper, tuck your chin toward your chest, and then walk your hands up your legs, slowly rising up to stand. Once we get to the top, let's keep the chin tucked down toward the center of the chest. Circle your shoulders up, back, and down. Keep chin tucked to chest for a moment. And then roll your right ear toward your right shoulder. Take a moment to feel that stretch, that pull on the left side of your neck. And we'll switch sides by dipping the chin back down to the center of your chest, and then the left ear reaching toward the left shoulder. Noticing, maybe enjoying that stretch or pull through the right side of the neck here. And go ahead and do that a couple times side to side, just rocking down, chin down to the center of the chest, and then over to the other side. Back and forth at your own pace here. Make sure you're going slow enough that you're present the whole way through. Lots of little spots to enjoy along the way. If you find any kind of sticky areas or any areas that feel like they need some extra love, you can always pause there. Maybe bringing up a hand to kind of rub the neck. If they're too tender, maybe you just kind of skip over those parts, going a little quicker. All right. Come back to center, lifting your gaze back up to neutral. With an inhale, let's reach the arms up and around, joining your hands up at the top, option to look up, stretching your whole body up. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. Inhale, hands go high. Exhale, sweep your arms around and down, back by your sides. Let's do that again. Inhale, reaching high. Palms join. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, reaching around and down. All right, let's just give it a little shake out. So shake those arms, shake the shoulders. Getting the upper body, a little bit of movement here. When you feel ready, maybe you add on a little shake of the legs or the feet. Just some good movement, shaking, bouncing, dancing, twisting, just whatever it takes to get some blood flowing. Whew, almost like you're shaking some stuff off. I really feel it. I like to kind of rub my hands together, like you're almost like you're drying some water off of your hands. You can be kind of intense with it or nice and gentle or a little of both. All right, so we're coming back to stillness at the top. Take a look down at your feet to make sure they're at a comfortable distance. Inhale, reach both hands high. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold, hinging at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, looking straight down at the floor. So it's like a half tuck of the chin. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach all the way back up, hands join overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. This time hands come to the floor or blocks. We're stepping just the right foot back. Lower your right knee to the mat. With an inhale, reach both hands high. Exhale, side bend to the left. So we're grabbing to the right. We're grabbing onto the right hand. We're reaching over to the left side. Toe heel that left foot out a little wider if it starts to feel like too much of a balance challenge. We're kind of pushing that right hip out. Keep breathing here. With an inhale, come back to the center. And exhale, hands come down to the floor. Breathe like normal as you step your left knee back to meet your right knee. So we're in a tabletop. And we're going to step the right foot forward to our low lunge position. You might toe heel your right foot out wide right away here. When you're ready, take an inhale, lift both hands up. Exhale, side bend to the right. We're grabbing the left wrist and gently pulling to the right. Feel that openness through the left side. Breathe. One more breath in and out. Inhale, come back up to the center. And exhale, lower your hands down to the floor or your blocks if you have them. Curl your left toes under, pick up your left knee, and then step your left foot back up to the top of your mat. Forward fold at the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, reaching arms around and palms join overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more half sun salutation here. Inhale, hands high. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold, bending your knees a little. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach all the way up, rise up, palms touch overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a couple of breaths here, finding your energetic and physical center. Let's take a clearing breath together, inhaling through your nose, sighing through your mouth. blinking your eyes open if they were closed. Let your hands come down by your sides. We're gonna step wide. So whichever way you're still facing the screen here, just step wide on your mat. We're gonna do a little forward or a little wide-legged forward fold. So I like to have my toes slightly in and my heels slightly out. Kind of feels a little nicer on the hips. Then just start to hinge at the hips. So we're kind of puffing the chest out. We're not gonna round forward. We're gonna puff the chest out and hinge at the hips first. And then when you're ready, you can lower your hands down to blocks or the floor or the shins or wherever you can reach comfortably. Take a few breaths. Feeling wherever you're feeling this stretch, probably somewhere through the legs. Sometimes people can feel it even down to their feet or your back. So this will feel unique to you in some way. At some point, let's inhale to halfway lift. So we're kind of flattening the back, coming halfway up. Take a little bend of your knees and then exhale, fold forward again. You can flow with that, rising halfway with your inhales, and then exhale, folding, or just stay folded. You can keep with a fold if you'd like. Otherwise, we're going to transition to our half squat or skandasana. I love to use blocks with this if you have them. We're going to make the feet more parallel to the edges of the mat now, so not that pigeon-toed position. Let's walk the blocks or the hands over toward the right foot and then start to bend into your right knee. You could stay kind of in this uplifted position here with your hands on a chair or the blocks or even on your knee. You could kind of squat like this. This is a great place to stay. If you want to try going deeper or you know you have that range of motion, you can get right into your full skandasana, bending your knee so we're up on the right tippy toes kind of, and then flip so the left toes are facing up toward the sky. We're on that left heel. I like to keep pressing down into the blocks and puffing the chest up. You might start to feel a nice inner thigh stretch here. But again, if this is too far, just get right back up to that kind of side lunge version instead. You can stay right here and enjoy this nice deep stretch, or begin to turn this into a bit of a balancing position, bringing one hand to heart center and then maybe the other. And finding a drishti or an unmoving focal point might be nice. If balancing isn't there today, just go ahead and bring the hands back down when you're ready. Just about one more breath in. One more breath out. Press into your blocks, lift up, straighten that right leg. Come back to the center. Take a moment just to notice one leg and the other. Maybe just kind of going a little bit side to side with a little micro bend of one knee and then the other. Just taking a moment before switching. And then when you're ready, let's walk those blocks or walk those hands toward the left foot and bend into your left knee. Again, you might stay right here. You could bring your hands to that left thigh. You could bring your hands up to heart center and stay lifted up here. This is a really good version. If you have some knee problems or any restrictions there through that left leg. Or get right into your skandasana, half squat, deepening the bend through that left knee, and then coming to that right heel with the right toes reaching up toward the sky. And hang out here if you'd like. You can turn this into a balancing pose again by bringing one hand to heart center and then the other. Ooh. But if it's a little too deep today, you can always come right back up to your side lunge or your half lunge, no problem. Breathing and feeling the moment. 2 more breaths. One more breath in and breath out. Good. Come back up, straighten that left leg. We're walking the hands or blocks back to the center. And once again, just kind of shifting those hips side to side, bending your knee, and then the other, just kind of refreshing at the center. All right, we'll go into our yogi squat now. If you do have the blocks, I encourage you to build a little seat for yourself here for a little bit of a gentler variation. So our feet will come in a little bit here. If you know the kind of squat you like to do, just get right into it. Otherwise, we'll come up here to our football squat, hands on the knees, just kind of sinking your seat a little bit. It feels nice to dip one shoulder to the center and then the other. Staying up here if you want to, or deepening down to your yogi squat. Again, this can be really hard on your knees, so no problem staying up there in your football squat if that feels best today. I like to sit on some blocks. The higher your blocks are, the more support you'll have through the legs, through the hips. And take some time in your squat, either closing your eyes or finding a drishti, an unmoving focal point. Deepening your breath. You can always come down to a seat if you've gone too far or you just need that relief right away. Two more breaths. One more breath in. And a breath out. If you're sitting on props, just kind of come up just enough to slide those blocks away. And then come on down to a seat. Straighten those legs here. And then roll your way back onto your backside. And when you get there, let's take a long body stretch, reaching arms and legs in opposite directions, reaching and stretching through the entire body. Stretch, reach. And then we'll hug those knees in toward the chest and take some free movement, massaging pressure over the low back, maybe the mid back, maybe the sacrum. And doing so by adjusting how close your knees are hugged into your chest or how far they are away from the chest. You can take some kind of rocking movements or circling movements of the knees and legs. And noticing your body, noticing if there are any last poses, movements, or stretches that your body's needing now. And then moving into those in your own timing. Maybe a happy baby, reaching down for the inside or outside edges of the feet or even the big toes, and pulling those knees in toward your armpits. Maybe there's another pose that comes to mind that feels good. Just taking a few experiments here now. And then as soon as you're ready for your final rest, I invite you to bring back a couple of those props from earlier. If you have a bolster or blankets, maybe bringing those under the knees. Maybe you have a little extra pillow underneath your head. Maybe a blanket up over top of you. Take your time as you settle in. Remembering that the practice of just making yourself comfortable can be very relieving. So don't take any shortcuts. Find the most comfortable position you can get yourself into. If you're cold, maybe grabbing a blanket. And you'll go ahead and settle in here. I'm going to play a little bit of music for you today as you enjoy your Shavasana. And know that you are welcome to stay right here, enjoying a longer Shavasana if that suits you today. And whenever you are ready to move along, just slowly reawakening by deepening your breath, wiggling fingers and toes, maybe opening and closing your jaw, swallowing or yawning. Maybe taking a long body stretch. Eventually choosing a side to roll onto, finding the fetal position with your knees slightly bent. Maybe your bottom arm is your pillow. Take a full round of breath here. And when you're ready, pressing your way up to a comfortable seat. If it feels okay to have your eyes closed, we'll close down the eyes and join hands in front of your heart center. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. May our own thoughts, words, and actions somehow contribute to that happiness and freedom for all. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Together, bringing thumbs up to third eye center. Let's take a little bow forward together now as we close. Peace. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you again soon, I hope. Take good care, everyone.